is standing, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against what you're doing today. In Jesus' name, let everyone say amen. 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 Good to see you. Thank you for being here in the house of worship today. Hello to everyone on Periscope. Be kind enough to share with your friends. We thank you for being with us. And for those who are in the house, we have an outline that we're working from. If you're following on Periscope or wherever you are, one of the scriptures we will be looking at today is Mark chapter 10. So everyone in the house, make sure you have an outline, and then on Periscope, go to Mark chapter 10, verses 46 through 52. We're going to work our way over there. It's going to take me a moment to get there, but you'll have time to find it, Mark chapter 10. And we will work through if you had the outline. And I'm using the New Living Translation, and so you will be able to see and understand where we are. Before we get started today, just some faith declarations. We learned that there's power in what we say, right? Amen. Amen. There's power in what we say. So Spirit of Life, I'm asking you to continue to say this throughout the week and wherever you are for 2016, 5 faith declarations. The first one is, I walk in the wisdom of God in every area of my life. Can we say that? I walk in the wisdom of God in every area of my life. Number 2, I control my daily decisions and create the future God has for me. I control my daily decisions and create the future God has for me. Number 3, I respect God's desires for my life. I respect God's desires for my life. Number 4, I bless others and receive repayment from God. I bless others and receive repayment from God. Number 5, I do those things that lead to success in this life and in the life to come. I do those things that lead to success in this life and the life to come. Amen. You're going to get those principles in your heart. You're going to know them by name. Listen, my sermon title today is Say Hello to Me. I'm talking about our identity in Christ. But you're going to have to help me put this together. There's something inside of me. You ever tried to scratch an itch that you have and you got close to the itch? So I think I'm close to what I want to say. I don't think I quite have it all that I want to say. But I'm going to try to say this, and I want you to think with me through this. I'm talking about identity. You ready? So when a baby is born, right, we give the baby a name, even though at that point the baby doesn't know, they don't know who they are. Right? So the baby is there, but the baby has no sense of its identity, right? And even as the baby gets older, the baby, they really don't know who they are. I had a little guy in one school that I called him Mr. President. He was a kindergartner or a first grade, but I mean, he just, they're just some kids that conduct themselves like that. And he's a little guy. Yeah. And I would say, hey, Mr. President. He said, I'm not the president. I said, of course you're not, but look at what you do. He refereed and made sure everybody was playing fairly. But you and I know that in order for him to ever become a president, he's going to have to go through a lot of stuff. Are you right? So even though at that age, he had the characteristic, he was behaving as someone who in life would be like this, there was a lot of stuff he'd have to go through in order to end up there. Anybody know what I'm talking about? So he had that identity. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You had an identity as a child, and over the years it changed. Okay. Let me keep working on it. The plan of the enemy is to hit you so hard with life that Mr. President would never grow up with confidence. Because in the kindergarten, he had confidence. He was going around helping everybody, right? Life comes along and hits you real hard, and life hits you like that because the enemy wants you to give up every dream you had. And so God, I believe, wants you to dream again. I've been examining my life, and I'm looking at it. I say, okay, how did I go from this point to that point to that point and the other? And one of the things I noticed about me that may not be true about you is that I tend to behave in ways, listen, that are consistent with what I believe about myself. And it may not be true of you, but I've been going back and looking and seeing what was the difference, what actually made the difference. So whatever I believed about myself was how I behaved. And that belief became my identity. When I went to the school system, just went there to take any job, just trying to get a job, put stuff on the table, right? And so they had a job open as a para-ed, and generally as a male on campus para-ed, they gave you the largest kid that nobody could handle, right? And I was, oh man, so they gave me one kid, and I remember this guy was big, and he knew how to make you back off of him. If the spitting didn't work, he had ways to make you not want to touch him. You know what I'm saying? So that was my kid. And so first we had to work on the spitting thing, but so I was working with him as a parent. So that was my mentality, right? So I always made sure I had on jeans and long sleeves because I didn't know what we're going to be getting into with this guy until. So I remember going in the office one time, he was beating up the principal, right? So I had to, and it was like, my assignment was to stop the war. You know what I'm saying? I had to just get in there, whatever. He's trying to run away from school. I had to stop him, right? That was my identity. Are you following? No, you're not with me. So so I went there with that understanding. Then I got promoted to becoming an educational assistant, which was supposed to be a specialist. So I had appointments with certain kids. You follow? So now, listen. So now, rather than wrestling the kid all day in the room, you follow? Sometimes they keep him from hurting somebody. I was in the back, we flipping each over till the security comes. You know what I'm talking about. Now, my identity changed. I would walk in the room and say, this is what you need to do with that kid. You got it? All right. And listen, I all of a sudden knew what to say in that position. And I was wondering, so my accumulation of my experiences from that identity rolled over into the new identity. And then the next one, so now that I'm an analyst, now I can say to 5 or 6 people, this is what you ought to be doing. No longer do I have to wrestle the kids. Sometimes I do, they don't get them in shape. But anyway, now here's the point. Stay with me. We got to get to this. So, because I'm trying to get to me. How did I become me? Having been this as a kid, right? Learning how to spell. You remember when you learned how to spell? Right? And then having been an attempt at a thug life, or whatever kind of life, right? And then an attempt at this and an attempt at this. And so my identity rose. So now I'm in the military, and I'm still trying to become authentic, and I'm struggling with lying. Anybody here ever told a lie? Yeah. Anybody ever struggle with it, or you just tell it and you're good? So there's one thing. So people talk about they're struggling with stuff. Some of y'all ain't struggling with stuff. Some of you just doing it, right? But so I lied so much. I told you my buddies on the street called me Lying Bill. That was my nickname, Lying Bill. We'd be sitting up at the restaurant and say, here comes Lying Bill, right? So now, do you have a nickname? Anybody here got a nickname? Now, I'm not talking about the one you want us to know. I'm talking about the one they call you when the lights are off, when the lights are on low. You got a nickname? Okay, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. So anyway, you don't want to admit it, right? So now I examine myself. Now, how did I change, listen, my identity from being Lying Bill? Are you following? Now, one of the things is that I found out that I would lie if I made a mistake that I thought you would find out, listen, and you would think differently of me. So I would lie. I'm trying to change my identity. I'm looking back. Okay, how did I get out of that? I got out of that by examining why did I lie. And I noticed that I would lie. You may lie for other reasons, right? I would lie because I didn't want you to think bad about me. So I would tell you a lie so you would not know where I messed up. So even though cookie dough was on my mouth, I didn't want to admit that I'd been in the cookie jar. You follow what I'm saying? So I would lie. Y'all are not getting it. So yes. So you asked me, did you finish the job? Yes, I finished the job. Even though I hadn't even started the job. Then I would run over and try to finish the job, right? And so I took on the identity of someone I did not want to be in order for you not to look at me and see me as what I was. Okay. Are you getting that? So I lied. So if you had asked me at that time, are you a liar? What would I have said? No, that would be a lie, isn't it right? Because if we ask you who you were today, would you be able to introduce us to the real you? Or, okay, you're not ready for that yet. So I'm afraid to let you see the real me because I have put so much effort in hiding the real me, but I didn't select a better identity. So I can't see the real me because the real me is messing up all the time. So I would lie to make you think that I was over here and actually I was over there. And being over here, that became my identity. Did y'all follow that? No. So whenever I lied, in order to get out of my lying, I had to learn to speak to me about who I was. And I no longer wanted to do that, but I had to be honest, that was what I was doing. I mean, I lied so well. I think I told you the story. I was sitting talking to a therapist, and generally, when you go to the therapist, you go into them because you want to be honest about what's going on. And I was in there lying. Yeah, I was in there lying. And guess what? I want to get over the line. So I told the therapist, listen, let me, because I want to stop lying. Y'all never lied, so you may not understand this. I wanted to stop lying. Lying is not a good thing. Anybody know that? So I said, look, let me record the therapy sessions so I can go home and listen to me lying and hear the truth and come back and tell you the truth that I was afraid to tell you because I want to stop lying. I know y'all say, Pastor, I was never that messed up. Okay, I got you. So now, I'm telling you how to change your identity because somebody listening to me on Periscope, I talk about people on Periscope, because in Periscope, the people in the room are saying, don't talk about them, so I'm just talking about y'all, all right, because we can't see you. But the people I'm looking at in the room, they are saying they've never been messed up. They are saying they never took on a bad identity. You got it? So now, I want to stop lying. So whenever I caught myself, because I had to learn, it became so natural, I did it all the time. Anybody know it? Okay. Have you ever lied to yourself? And most people lie to themselves, do it in such a sneaky way that you don't even know. After a while, it becomes part of you. So whenever I lied, I had to make myself turn around and go back and face that situation. So here's the point of growth for me. I remember I was, I think, legal secretary now in the military. Typed out a letter. Commanding officer came, asked me about something that I didn't do, and I lied and I said I did it. And then, like, man, I want to stop lying. So I had to go back and say I didn't get it done. I lied. Whoa, that was a point in my life. I still remember. I grew. Anybody know about that? Why did I do it? Because, listen, I wanted to reclaim or meet the me that God said I was. Yes. And what was keeping me from being the me? All the other stuff in between. Are you following? I did that. I changed my identity so I wouldn't have to hide anymore. Are you ready? Okay, that was the introduction. Let's get started. So now, understanding, point number one in your lesson, in your outline, number one, understanding your identity actually does what? It changes your destiny. As I understood and changed my identity from lying Bill, I can now have a new destiny. You got it? One of the things you watch in a political campaign, generally, this is a tactic to keep people from looking at you. Generally, what you do, people who know this, don't practice it. I would look at what's weak about me, and I would describe that weakness in you. So I'm the liar, and I walk into the room. You're a liar. And you're such a liar, you're such a liar, you're such a liar. And I'm keeping the focus off of me. And they can't prove that they're not a liar. They haven't been lying, but how can they prove they're not a liar? And it keeps the focus off of me as being the liar. You get it? Wow. So now, until I'm willing to be honest, and that's a tactic. You just look at the weakness that you have in yourself and project it onto your enemy. Amen. And how can they fight off a weakness that's not theirs, that you labeled them with? So you see that going on in the political campaign. It's interesting. One person, you're a liar, you're a liar, you're a liar. Wait a minute. You look at your record, you're a liar. Anyway, why is this important? Listen, we are about to step out of the walls of the church, the walls of the building. Listen, we're about to take what we've learned in here out there. Look at it another way. You walked in here from somewhere, right? We're about to take what we've been doing in here back to where you've been, right? The people God wants to bless, we are saying they are his treasures, correct? Amen. So listen, we are going to go treasure hunting for his treasures, right? Amen. Yes. However, the first treasure we should find is the treasure called me. Yes. You need to meet you and free you and greet you and love you as God loves you. But you will not meet the real you if you are so hung up on lying. When I use whatever the thing is you're doing to keep us from rejecting you. Wow. All right. I know. You're just saying, Pastor, I don't care about you or anybody else. I know. So some of you, that's not even your issue. Right. But there's a phoniness that we keep going in order for people to think differently about us, and that's not the real you. All right. You are a treasure that you need to meet. Amen. Does that make sense? Okay. What am I saying? If you are not sure who you are, listen, then when you meet someone that God wants to bless through you, you will struggle with allowing God to bless them through you because you are so needy. Come on, Pastor. Come on. Are you hearing that? I hear you. Why do I get jealous when God blesses somebody else? I get jealous when God blesses somebody else. Why? Because I'm so needy. I need all the blessings. And why is it that I think I need all the blessings? Because my identity is not solid in him. When my identity is solid in him, it does not matter who else he blesses. There will always be a place at the table for me. Amen. Is this making sense? Yes. Okay, I haven't got to you yet. It's still introduction, so stay with me. No, this thing is hitting me so strong. I'm looking at how if we ever get in our minds that we are sons and daughters of God, sent here on assignment, everything about our lives would change. Amen. We would never be intimidated by anybody else again. Because what? God is on my side. Who can ever be against me? You know what the Bible says? Yes. Yeah, but we're tripping because we're in our false identity. Stay here with me. Blessings are trying to come to you. You cannot freely release them because you are so insecure within yourself. And you will get upset because God has given people time and attention that you need. All attention must be on you. Why? Because you don't know who you are. Okay, let me give you a scripture. You ready? Yes. Mark chapter 10. Mark chapter 10. Thank you all for coming to church and saying amen. So What have I said so far? My identity. Once I understand my identity, what will happen? Changing my destiny. I also said that life comes along to slime me, to keep me from moving into my identity, right? So I could have stayed lying Bill, but internally I would know that I'm lying. And if I never dealt with that, in order to survive, I would have to sedate my sense of knowing that I'm not who I am. On the weekend, I have to get the 40 ounce, right?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, look at what society is doing. Mark chapter 10. Are you still with me on Periscope? Stay with me. Let's think through this. Mark chapter 10. Are you ready? I'm going to walk through the scriptures. I'm going to ask you to look for something. You ready? Okay, Mark chapter 10. Then they reached what? Jericho. Now, by the way, I'm walking. I thought just came through my mind and messing with you about stuff. I'm not messing with you about everything that came through, right? But one of them, I want you to retain what I'm sharing with you, because we're going to put the puzzle pieces together. So don't lose pieces of your puzzle. Right. And we get there and we get ready to play and you don't have your pieces, all right? Keep your pieces. So then they reach what? Jericho. They reach what? Okay. And as Jesus and his disciples left town, what were they doing? They were leaving town. What happened? A large crowd was doing what, everybody? Okay, now watch this, watch this. A blind beggar named Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus, was sitting beside the road, right? 47. When Bartimaeus heard that Jesus of Nazareth was nearby, he began to shout, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. 48. Be quiet. Many of the people yelled at him. I know nobody in this church would do that, right? You'd be surprised what you do. Somebody say, Pastor, I'm not even surprised. All right. But he only shouted louder, right? Son of David, do what, everybody? Have mercy on me. When Jesus heard him, with verse 49, when Jesus heard him, what did Jesus do? He stopped and said, tell him to come here. So they called the blind man, and now what are they saying? Cheer up. Cheer up. Come on. He's calling you. Verse number 50. Bartimaeus threw aside his coat, jumped up, and came to Jesus. 51. What do you want me to do for you? Jesus asked. My rabbi, the blind man, said, I want to see. And Jesus said unto him, go, for your faith has healed you. Instantly the man could see, and he followed Jesus down the road. Did you get it? Yes. Okay, just retain that in your mind. We're going to unpack it, because we're dealing with identity and we're dealing with destiny. You ready? Yes. So first, let's look at the man's name. Simon, son of Timaeus. And that's just a combination, bar, meaning son. Timaeus, usually they don't give you the name of the person. You know, the woman who touched the hem of Jesus' garment, they didn't give us her name. Right. But usually when the Bible gives you the name of somebody, it's because there's a significant representation of his family, or the people in the area really knew that guy. That was so-and-so. It would be like we were in church today and the mayor's son came in the building. You got it? And we said, oh, Jack was there, the son of the mayor. You know, that's significant. Now, ready for identity. Who was following Jesus? The crowd was following Jesus. Get this. They were following Jesus, but they had not completely identified with him, which was evidenced by how they behaved. So they were following him, and you can tell they were not identified with him, because when somebody else wanted a piece of him, they were saying, shut up. They had a nasty attitude. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Have you ever had somebody have a nasty attitude with you and then find out who you really were, and now they want to say, oh no, child, I didn't mean all of that? Have you ever had that happen? Yeah, I've had people. I had people not know I was the pastor, and I come in and they, you know, treat me one way and then, oh, you're the pastor. Now, I was the pastor when I was walking in, you know. I didn't just become the pastor when I sat down after you insulted me, no. The crowd, listen, they showed what was in their heart, because it becomes obvious in order to give what the man needed, it would inconvenience their life. Let me say that again. The crowd was doing what? Right. But they had not identified with Jesus, because when the man wanted something for Jesus, I'm not going to give it to him because it's going to inconvenience me. As if the man was after you. Okay. What was Jesus' assignment? Point number 3 in your outline. This is going to go quickly here, and we're going to come back to you. Matthew chapter 4. What was Jesus' assignment? Jesus did what? Okay, we're in chapter 4, verses 23 and 24. Somebody put it on Periscope for me. Jesus traveled throughout the region of Galilee. And what was he doing? Teaching in synagogues and announcing the good news about the kingdom. And what did he do? Healed every kind of disease and illness. News spread about him spread as far as Syria. The people soon did what? They began bringing him all who were sick. And whatever their sickness or disease, or if they were demon-possessed or epileptic or paralyzed, what happened? He healed. So as Jesus was walking around and the crowd was following him, was Jesus on assignment? Yes, he was on assignment. What was his assignment? To heal. He's announcing the good news of the kingdom, right? And when the kingdom is present, what does he do with sick people? Heals them. So if I'm in the crowd and I'm identifying with Jesus and there's a sick man needing Jesus' help, would I be telling the sick man to shut up? No. Thank you. Thank you. What was the disciples' assignment? Let's look at Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10. Look at the assignment given to the disciples here. Matthew chapter 10. Jesus sent out how many? 12 apostles with these instructions. Don't go to the Gentiles or the Samaritans, right? But only to the people of Israel, God's lost sheep. Go and do what? Announce to them that what happened? The kingdom of heaven is near, right? Jesus came talking the kingdom. You go tell them the kingdom of heaven is near. And what is your assignment? Heal the sick. Do what? Raise the dead. Do what? Cure those with leprosy. And do what? Cast out demons. Freely give as freely as you have received, right? Jesus was on assignment. What was his assignment? Announcing the good news of the kingdom. And if you were sick, what was he supposed to do with you? The disciples were on assignment with Jesus, right? And he said, okay, anybody sick, what are you supposed to do? Cure the diseases, right? And the crowd is following Jesus. And they run across a sick man. Right. What do? Get out of here. Okay, I'm coming to you in just a moment. One more point, and then it's just me and you. You ready? How does the Holy Spirit identify and reveal to us our assignment? Are you ready? Yes. Okay. God's plans. We will come across a prayer need. There will be a prayer need. We're going to learn that as we go out. We're going to pray, and God is going to give us somebody's prayer need. You got it? Yes. There will be what else? A location. There will be what else? Appearance. We will get somebody's appearance, what they're like. There will be someone else? A name or something unusual. Do you have that? Yes. Something special, something unusual. Now, are you retaining stuff? Yes. Okay, amen. Somebody not sure. You ready? What was the prayer need in Mark chapter 10? Okay, you wanted to see anything else he needed? Mercy. He needed mercy. He just needed healing. What was his financial condition? He was a beggar. He was a beggar. So generally, when I'm at the point of begging, come on. What was the location? Don't look down, you retain it. What was the location? Jericho, on the side of the road. What was the appearance of this guy? He had on a coat. Did we get a name? Bartimaeus. He was the son of. Yeah, he was the son of. Anything unusual about him? He was blind, hanging out. Okay, good, good. So now, you ready? I'm going to talk about the players and then talk about us. Okay, so who are the major players? Let's get this in line. So one of the major players is Jesus, right? Yes. Does Jesus know what he's doing? Yes. Is Jesus on an assignment? Yes. And he knows his assignment. Yes. Is Jesus focused on his assignment? Yes. And so everything is about his assignment, right? How does Jesus know his assignment? He's connected with God. And if you were here at church a couple of weeks, you remember we talked about that one day he was, they're not quite sure we're pantomiming out here. No, he wasn't on a skateboard. That's right. So one day he was baptized, right? And what happened? He came up out of the water. Heaven's open. Okay, so he got it right. So now, were the disciples on assignment? Yes. Yes. Did they know what they're supposed to do? Yes. So, were they on target and alert? No. Okay. And then there's the crowd. What is a crowd? Have you ever been in a crowd? Yes. Have you ever been in a crowd on Black Friday? No. Oh, no. Have you ever seen one on TV? Yes. You ever been in a crowd? Have you ever been in a crowded doctor's office and somebody's in there on the telephone and they're having a conversation and you having to be all in that conversation. You don't want to be in that conversation, but they're crowding, they're being rude. Yeah, so anyway, the crowd, listen, the crowd has no sense of their assignment. There are people in the crowd who are in there only for themselves. So let's go with the guy. The guy, he's over there on the side, right? And he's yelling out for what? Mercy. Was he the only one who needed mercy? No. But he's the only one yelling. Are you hearing that? Now I got to get this in my spirit. Help me to go there, God. I got to get this in my spirit because my answer was coming by. And I was too cute. In my identity, with my broke, begging self. Are you hearing me? To cry out over everybody else in order to get my needs met. So he was doing something different and thinking different than the people in the crowd. Let's try something. Let's try something. Could you look at your neighbor for a moment and see if you can tell what they're thinking? Oh, I mean, they're not thinking bad about you now, but you can't tell what they're thinking, is that right? So you cannot base your sense of desperation on what's going on their face. Right. Sure issue. And you cannot, how strong do I have to be to take hold of my miracle? I gotta be stronger than the crowd. In order for me to get healed, in order for me to get my material, my miracle from God, I got to overcome the crowd. Amen. I'm a beggar. Listen, watch this identity. As a beggar, I'm used to you setting limits on me. Oh yeah. Based on what you see I don't have. You ain't nothing but a beggar. People move you out of the way. You're on the side of the road. You're going nowhere. We're walking past you. Matter of fact, if you're not saying anything, we would not have said anything to you. We've already written you off. We're walking past you. Some people will even pay you to be quiet. And some people will shut you up themselves. So what is my identifying role? Listen, when I take it upon me to shut you up when you're desperate for God. I know you're saying, Pastor, I would never do that. Help me, Holy Ghost. Let's go to work. Are you ready? Amen. I'm going to say, I am amazed at how I respond. You ready? I'm giving you the code. I'm going to say, I am amazed at how I behave. But what I'm really saying is, I'm not just talking about me. So I'm amazed in the story at who did not respond to the begging man. See, I'm amazed. Since the disciples were on point, they should have been, oh, yes. Jesus, hold up. Look over here, we found a blind man, and we know it's our assignment. So, man, Jesus, hold up, let's go. Let's pause. I know you're on your way somewhere, but here's somebody that ought to be healed. Oh, we're so glad. But the disciples said nothing. Maybe they didn't hear him. Wait a minute. But the disciples were with Jesus, so maybe they were hard of hearing. But how come Jesus heard what was going on, and he was the only one saying something? Right. And Pastor Cassia, she's like that, man. I can be in a flow. I can be in a flow prophetically, and I'm praying for people on Periscope, and I'm feeling the anointing lifting. I'm about there. She'll pass me a note. She said, ask the people if there's somebody else online who needs prayer. I'm like, whoa, I'm all out of gas, but she's like, is there anybody else who needs prayer? And we'll pray there'll be one or two more, and then she points a note again. It might be somebody else there you could help, baby. Somebody else, please pray for one more. Wow. Now, even though I'm tired, I admire that because she wants to see somebody blessed. But how come the disciples around Jesus weren't passing him notes? Wait a minute. I heard you. How come every time I come to church, I come by myself? How come my car is empty when I come to church? When my assignment is. Are you hearing me? Pastor, you shaming me? No, I'm not shaming you. I'm talking about me as well as you. But I'm saying something has to change. Right. Yes, because there are too many blind people begging. Yes. Are you all hearing me? Yeah. Okay. Let me. You all are not the disciples, but let me talk about it. So maybe the disciples heard Jesus at the same time. So maybe that was their excuse, right? Which means they were not as sensitive as they needed to be. And when am I not sensitive to other people? It's when I'm all focused on me. Oh yeah, you should have been looking for people to bring to church. My pastor's talking about healing. Let me find some sick folks. Y'all not hearing me. Nobody got healed last week. Let me bring them this week. Maybe this is the week they're going to get healed. Because the word says that. We ought to bring somebody. You got demons? Come on, come to my church. Pastor, I'm scared to let them in my car. You ought to have the knowledge and the authority to at least contain the demon to bring them to church. Amen? But then you've heard enough. You can cast them out. The authority from God is in you. You can cast the devil out. The disciples should have been on that. Listen, they should have been on that smartphone, on their GPS, and hey man, you know old crazy cousin Larry. You know that one crazy one, been in and out of jail, can't get his life together. You know the one I'm talking about. Make sure that you have Larry standing on the corner of La Brea and Slauson. Yeah, have him over there by the gas station because around 9:30 we're gonna be passing through. And we're going to snatch him up and give him his mind back so he can get his life back. Yes. That's what they should have been doing, based on the identity of knowing I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. Are you hearing that? Yes. So you're hearing that? Say amen. Amen. Now, let's talk about the crowd. What am I thinking? Who am I to tell a blind man to shut the blank up? Okay, he didn't put the blank in there. I just threw the blank in there. But come on. What is your identity? To tell somebody that, please shut up. Why? Because I am busy following Jesus. Isn't that what they're doing? Listen, and then watch this. And they shift. When do they shift? When Jesus says, bring the man. Now, with their twisted selves, they all of a sudden happy that the man is coming. Well, Jesus, look at me. Jesus, look at me, Jesus. I'm so happy. The man is going to be blessed. But when you weren't looking, I'm telling you, you better shut up. What do you call those people that they have 3 seconds before I'm telling them to shut up, but now Jesus wants it. And Jesus got me on the spot. Like, oh, Jesus, you want me to get him and bring him over? Oh, hey, man, this is a wonderful day for you. Look, Jesus, I'm bringing him. You're one way when you don't think Jesus is looking. Then you're another way when you think Jesus is looking. Which raises the question, then you're following Jesus, but you're not connected to him. I'm following Jesus, I'm following the one who heals the sick, raises the dead, casts out demons. So now there's a sick man. The crowd should have been stopping him and saying, hey, there's somebody here. Thank God, here's a sick one. Let's all work together. Let's bring him to Jesus in the way it ought to be. Yes. No, but that's not the way it is. I can come and be in the house of God and so caught up on myself that somebody can come in desperately need Jesus and they better find him on their own because I got my thing going on. I don't have time for their interruptions. What is going through my mind when I tell a blind man to shut up? When I tell a beggar to shut up? And all the beggar is asking for is mercy. What is going through my mind? I'm telling you, nobody gave me a break. Therefore, I'm not giving you a break. What does that say about me that makes what I want more important than what you need? You need a miracle. All I want to do, I'm here to argue with Jesus. Yeah. And in the meantime, I told you to shut up. You better shut up. Because I know who your daddy is. Oh, yeah. Here's the revelation I received. Let me stop. There are 3 parts. The disciples, the crowd, the desperate, and all of us. And my life shifts. Point number 6. My life shifts. My life shifts happens as soon as what? The desperate part of me wins. Did you get that? Yes. When the desperate part of me wins, there's the disciple part, not sensitive. There's the crowd part, into it for themselves. And then there's the desperate part of me. I want my life to change. As soon as the desperate part of me wins, my life will change. My life will change. The disciple part. Disciple. I'm not doing anything wrong, but I'm not going out of my way to make sure anybody's blessed. There's a part of me that won't do anything wrong. I will pray, I will go to church, I will look to Jesus. But what I learn about God and how God blesses me, I'm not sharing that with you. I keep it to myself. I'm not going to hurt you, but I'm not going to tell you anything either. If you make it to Jesus, it's going to be because he called you. Because I'm not calling you. There's some crowd in me. I really don't have time for your foolishness. I'm so focused on what I'm doing that I don't even notice that you need help. I got mine. You need to go and get yours. And you need to get yours in a way that doesn't interfere with what I'm getting right now. There's a part of me that will not weep when you weep and will not rejoice when you rejoice. There's a part of me I'm not proud of that I can be in church and so focus on me that I don't even see you. I see a reflection of you, But when you smile at me, what I'm smiling back at is that you're smiling at me. And when you're struggling to smile, and you're struggling to talk to me, and when you're struggling to speak up, no, I'm not looking at that. All I see is that you're looking at me. All of my contact with you is all about me, even though I am following Jesus. No wonder people have problems with church folk. Because they're singing, when we all get to heaven, girl, you better move over. What a day of rejoicing that will be. Man, did you see what you're wearing today? When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory. Child, that's a shame. And then there's the blind beggar in me. There's a part of me that is pushed back where I only present the flawed part of me. Remember, my life shifts happen when the desperate part wins. But when does my identity change? When I'm desperate enough to make a change. Bartimaeus' identity changed when he started shouting the people down who were trying to keep him down. Before Jesus called him over, listen, he was no longer begging to be heard. Are you hearing that? It was as if he was saying, no, you shut up. I will be heard, and you cannot stop me, even though I'm a beggar, and you can't make me cooperate with you. You shut up. Right. And in fact, you coming at me like that, I'm going to shout the more. Isn't that what the Bible says? Yeah. His identity had been stolen. He wanted it back. What happens when they steal your identity? Generally, the first thing they go after is your money. Blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus. Now he's a beggar on the roadside. You sit here week after week struggling financially and nothing has changed in your life over the years for you. Somebody has stolen your identity. Whoever you are in here today, Jesus can give you back your real identity. You can never fulfill your destiny until you have a change in your identity. On earth, your identity comes under attack. So how do you see yourself today? Are you an immature disciple? Let Jesus help the blind. Are you part of the selfish crowd? I will help you as long as it doesn't inconvenience me. Do you see yourself as a beggar, the outcast, unworthy? One of the ways he does that, leading you into situations, crying out for help and there's nobody to help. And then the relationship changes, the identity comes in. Do you see it? Look at Bartimaeus at the end. The first verse we looked at was verse 46. When they reached Jericho, Jesus was about to go down. A blind beggar named Bartimaeus was where? Sitting beside of the road, verse 46. And then go down to verse number 52. Notice, and Jesus said to him at the end, go, for your faith has healed you. Instantly the man could see, and what happened? Wow. So at the beginning, he's sitting there begging. That was his identity. Became desperate, shouted over the opposition, and now with the new identity, what is he doing? He's following Jesus down the road. Identity change. He now follows Jesus. It's time for us to meet the real you, amen? You are a treasure that God wants to bless. Could you, I'm going to stick with William McDowell. Could you go, everyone, could you please stand? I'm going to say goodbye to everyone on Periscope. I'm into the message here. Going to take a time for ministry. Thank you for being there with us on YouTube. Thank you for being there with us. God bless you. See you. Be good. Donate to Spirit of Life. Share with us, please. Thank you. As we minister into your life, I'm going to ask you to get in groups of two, please.